Hi, my name is Mugethi. I manage a community of coders, hackers, designers, tech project managers from iHub Nairobi.
My name is Njeri. I run a programming training program in Nairobi and South Sudan. Super excited to be here.
My name is Sheilah. I work for a mobile entrepreneurs incubator in Nairobi.
And we'll start as soon as we solve the technical problems.
Can you start it from there?
Yeah. Go to the back.
We can dance.
Okay, fine. So the computer doesn't have Keynote, just to keep you updated. So he's going to look for a Mac with Keynote at the back, and in 5 seconds, we'll start.
Talk about
While you are waiting, we might as well toot our own horns about our organization. Thank you so much. Who here has heard about the iHub? Oh, cool beans. Yeah, you know your stuff. So for those who don't know it, it's a space in Nairobi where techies come together. So it's mostly a community space. We started 5 years ago. 5 years ago, it was mainly a space for techies to access the internet, because then it was quite expensive to access the internet in Nairobi, but now in Nairobi, it's quite easy to have internet on your phone, in your home. So it's mostly a place that techies come together, a place where you come and sit next to someone who knows what you're talking about when you say there's a bug.
And they know what bug you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay, the pitches will continue. So I run the Dev School in Kenya, which is a training program on mobile apps and web apps development. I started it when I was 19, so that's my selling point. In 2013, the story behind it was meant to go to hacker school in New York. I didn't get a US visa to go there, so I decided to start my own hacker school in Kenya. It's been 2 years. 2 years later, we've trained more than 250 young people in Kenya and South Sudan. We're trying to iterate and see how we can organize training programs within the formal school so that every kid has a chance to learn coding. They don't have to go to an external program to learn it.
Okay. And just to make sure, how many people know about MLab Nepal? MLab South Africa? MLab East Africa? Wow. Okay. So there are 5 MLabs across the world. They were set up by a World Bank 5 years ago. And I come from the MLab East Africa. And our mandate is basically to catalyze and grow the mobile ecosystem in East Africa. So, mobile is huge in developing countries. And we try and harness how huge that is to make sure there's a wide reach of impact. There's also use of, I would say, our first interaction with technology. Because for every kid, a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old, the first thing they'll touch, here they'll probably know an iPad, a Mac. For us, it's a basic feature phone. And that's their first interaction to technology. And how about you make those kids feel like they can be part of the global world using that first interaction they have, just like toys. Their toys is maybe here iPads, our toys are feature phones, and that's what we do at MLab. So we incubate startups that have a mobile focus. We also have probably the coolest testing lab in the world with over 200 devices where developers can come and test on those mobile devices for free. So I think our presentation is ready.
Our super cool slides are ready. So, it's 10 things Europe can learn from Kenya. But we are super excited to talk to you about some stuff that you can learn from us. However, this is not a talk about running a marathon, but I assure you that this is going to be fun. So one of the first things I'd like to talk to you about is that we have a tweeting chief. This is a guy who runs a location. So a location is an administrative unit, normally a village. And in this case, it's a rural village in Kenya. And this guy, he's a chief. He's not your super literate guy. He doesn't have a master's or maybe he doesn't even have the first degree. But he uses Twitter to talk to his residents, to the residents of his location he'll talk to them about security issues or about social issues. So just to give you some context, in Kenya, in the rural areas, it's not very uncommon to go to the chief and report your husband because he gets drunk all the time. And then the chief will, call your husband and talk to him and solve the issue. So these are examples of some of the tweets from the tweeting chief. So this one is in Kiswahili, but the translation is down there. So it says, kuna mama ameiba watoto wawili, mvulana na msichana kwa shosho wa shiko, kati ya miaka 2 na 3, and then says, piga your number. So a woman stole 2 children, and the chief, spread the word. So what happens is, it's Twitter to text. So once he sends the tweet, it goes into the text of everyone in his village. And so then they can easily mobilize and figure out what to do or report, because now there's a number there and you can take action.
So the second thing we'd like to teach you, what can you do with Nokia 100 apart from being a really cool ear accessory? So in Kenya, as most of you know, we have very high mobile penetration, but a lot of these mobile phones happen to be feature phones. That does not limit us from using technology in very creative ways. The first way is dating. Most guys get their date matches via SMS. So they're very cool and very popular SMS services, such as getting a date, betting on your favorite Premier League clubs, because you're obsessed with the English Premier League, getting scores for the Premier League again, because that's what our lives revolve around, getting prizes of crops. So farmers in many rural areas get their prizes through SMS, because every time we go to the market every week, the prices change very fast, and that's the way they stay updated, because they have no internet, so there's no way to stay online through that really cool ear accessory. They also get info on maternal health care. We have products such as Total Health that I'm sure some of you have heard about. It's a very simple SMS service that sends messages to young and not so young mothers on how to take care of themselves while they're pregnant and of their kids once they're born, because of the distance to different clinics. So they're not able to get to the clinic when they need to go there. So very simple messages to tell them, do this and don't do this, take these drugs, or you need to now go to the clinic. Well, we are hoping help babies stay alive. And yes, I talked about betting on football matches. Yeah, that's it. Oh, no, one more point. I was trying to remember what I'd forgotten. Jobs, which is something I'm very much interested in. There are a lot of SMS job listing services. By sending jobs to, say, 2249, you're able to stay updated on jobs that are requiring your skill levels, like accounting or whatever other jobs, particularly for gigs, front-end designers, back-end developers. There are a lot of jobs that are advertised through these SMS services. So this is how we get our employment.
So we also use social media for social impact stuff. So the picture you're seeing on the screen is, so there was this wave of touts who would strip women they thought or considered were dressing indecently. So they think you're dressed indecently, your dress is slightly shorter than they expect it to be, and they strip you naked. And someone took a video of one of those incidents and put it on Facebook, and then also shared it on WhatsApp. And what that resulted in was a group called Kilimani Moms on Facebook. They mobilized people on Facebook to have demos offline. So women came together, all of them, mostly women, but obviously there were men who were supporting this. And they started a hashtag, My Dress, My Choice. So basically it was telling the community that a woman has a right to what she wants to wear. And why this is very significant is because it actually influenced policy, in that the government was able to enforce I would say sexual assault or abuse against both genders, And that was very powerful. And this is just one of the social, I would say, social activism, if there's any word like that, that happens there. So we mobilize people online, then take the actions offline, hoping that it could influence change in the society, it could influence policy, it could influence several other factors. And the touts, they were jailed for 25 years. So that is big for us. Yeah.
Thank you. So in Kenya, social media takes on a whole new dimension where we actually use it for formal functions. I remember I had a young man who was interning at the IHAB from Canada. His name is Scott. Scott was very surprised that when he came and he got his Kenyan SIM and he had problems with it, and I told him, oh, just tweet Safaricom, they'll sort you out. He was like, what? I don't need to go there, I don't need to send them an email. So one of the really cool things is that you can do an entire customer care cycle, if you call it like that, on Twitter. You don't need to write an email or show up at the Vodafone office, for example. I remember one time when I lost my phone. So we do a lot of mobile banking, and when you lose your phone, you immediately want to stop the SIM card so that someone does not carry out transactions on your phone. And all I did was tweet Safaricom. They sent me a direct message on Twitter. They asked me some questions about my SIM card. And when they verified that it was me, they just blocked it. And when I was ready to get a new SIM, all I had to do was go and pick one up. This slide you're seeing here is Kenya's immigration department that deals with, for example, giving passports, giving work permits, and the first tweet there mentions something like e-citizen system. Now you can apply for your passport online, and you can track your passport by just talking to them on Facebook, talking to them on Twitter. If your passport was supposed to take 4 days and you still haven't got it, all you need to do is tweet them and they tell you it's because you have not submitted this document, and then you sort it out from there. So for example, Kenya Power is one of our favorite people to tweet. So Kenya Power is the sole electric distribution company in Kenya. It's owned by the government. And whenever power goes off, we always send angry tweets to them saying, Kenya Power, what the hell? Power is off again. And normally what they will do is that they will ask you for your electricity account number, which helps them to know which area you are in. And more than often, you'll find that the lights have been restored. Another thing is HELB, which is Higher Education Loans Board. So that's college loans. So now you can apply for your college loan via SMS. Apply, track the progress, receive it on your mobile phone, and even pay for it on your mobile phone. So here for us, social media just takes on a whole new perspective.
We can't talk about tech in Kenya without talking about M-Pesa. How many people in the audience have heard about M-Pesa? Yeah, pretty much all of you. So I wouldn't give an M-Pesa pitch, just explain how it's all evolved over the years. It started from being a very basic service. Majority of working Kenya lives in the urban areas. They work all week, and over the weekend, they need to send money back home to the family that lives in the countryside. So the basic idea was send money over your phone. So you'll go to a M-Pesa agent, give them cash, then they'll load money onto your phone, then you're going to transfer it to whatever area you're sending it to, then whoever you send the money will go to an agent and withdraw the money. That was the very basic, simple technology. It evolved to being, I can now pay for my airtime with M-Pesa, I can pay for my beer with M-Pesa, I can pay for my taxi with M-Pesa. So it's actually a mode of payment that vendors in Kenya started accepting, and it brought a big boost in the informal sector. Because we don't have credit cards in Kenya, most people won't qualify for one, and banks don't really give credit cards. So that was our easy way of being able to buy things online and actually use mobile money in place of M-Pesa, in place of credit cards, sorry. And after that, it evolved to be the bank of the unbanked. Now, you really don't need to have a formal bank. With M-Pesa, well, in a way, there's formal banking, but I will not get into details. So from the user's endpoint, you simply bought a SIM card. You have M-Pesa in it, registered as an M-Pesa user. You're able to get credit through M-Pesa, depending on the amount you normally transact, somehow it's calculated. So if I always send Mugethi 1,000 shillings, like I always do, and she sends them back. I'm kidding. So if I always send Mugethi 1,000 shillings, I can easily go to my M-Pesa account and request to get 1,000 shillings on credit, because they see from my transactions that I always send 1,000 shillings. 1,000 shillings like $10. Not much money, but can make a big difference. So it's very easy for people to get those small micro credits through their mobile phone. You're not filling up any form, you're not going to banks, you don't need to understand any banking procedure, you don't need a formal job to back your loan application. So it's very simple, and you're going to pay it systematically as you load money on your phone. So that's the bank of the unbanked. And for this slide, we don't go to the bank, we just text. For those with formal banking, we're able to connect our bank account with our M-Pesa account, so that I can deposit money to my bank account from the comfort of my couch, or withdraw money from my bank account to my M-Pesa account. Clearly, everything in Kenya is linked to M-Pesa. So this is a very easy way to make banking simple and seamless for us, because majority of the country has no access to internet. So by having this service that works on any basic phone, gives people access to, I can say, internet banking, a service they'll otherwise not have access to.
That was so good. I was actually watching her. I forgot I was supposed to talk. Yeah, anyway. So the picture on the screen, primary school kids. And they're actually studying for their NDI exams using a text. So we need books, but not really. We can text, we can read on phones. And what this has happened is an application called NS Education. Most of the kids who performed well used to be in expensive schools, because the poverty level for some of those kids is too low that they do not even afford a textbook. But now, they can text and still read on their parents' phone. Because I think in every family, almost all families, or at least a village, you will find a basic phone. And now kids can together revise for their NDI exams with those kids who have textbooks, with those kids who have resources online without having to buy those books. So it somehow subsidizes the costs for parents. It also provides those kids enough platform to compete at national level like the other kids. Another, I think I would say, impactful thing about phones that is happening in Kenya is, Njeri mentioned about total health. And what I love about total health is the fact that for mothers, especially young mothers who don't know, and first-time mothers who don't know much about development of a child, they can be given information about growth stages of a kid. They can also be asked questions about the stages of the baby growing. And then if there's any deformity, they are asked to go to the clinic. So this can help track deformities or disabilities early in a kid, and then help them get medication early for things like polio or any other disease or a disability that can be altered early in life. So I think for me that's very key about what Njeri talked about, total health.
So I heard in Europe, if it's Christmas time and you get gifts that you don't like and you sell them on eBay, is that true? Oh man. So in Africa we give gifts, we don't sell them on eBay. So what happens is during major festivals like Christmas and Eid, you go, if you live in the city, for example, you go, you shop for your parents, and then you go home to mommy or you go home to grandma, and you celebrate together. So now there's a big number of Kenyans in diaspora, but just because we are in diaspora doesn't mean we change our traditions. So we have some solutions that allow Kenyans to shop for their people at home. So for example, we have mamamikes.com. you can buy anything on Mama Mike's and have it delivered. So you can even buy a goat for Eid and just have it delivered to your parents' house. You can buy airtime. There's another application or service. It's called Task Wetu. So another thing that a lot of Kenyans do, and I think this applies to a lot of people in diaspora, is you want to invest at home. So maybe you want to build a house and make it a rental house. And what you do is you send your brother money all the time to keep the project going. And maybe if your brother wants to go clubbing, he takes a little of the money and goes clubbing. So in Task Wetu, you don't have to worry about that. They help you identify real estate, you send them money, and they do it for you. We also have another one called Tuma Karo. That's Kiswahili for saying send school fees. So send school fees, you can pay your kids school fees from diaspora. So just say which school it is, you send them the money using your credit card. So if you're in Europe, for example, and they pay fees using their account, and they take the banking slip to your child's school. So no more. So sometimes, you might be a teenager, your mom is in the diaspora, she sends you Western Union, and then you just go party marking. That doesn't need to happen anymore.
This is actually my favorite slide, and this has nothing to do with tech. This is about a culture that's very popular in Kenya and a lot of sub-Saharan African countries. We call them chamas. I think the English word is merry-go-rounds. It's a very simple concept where we bank in each other. So we all know banking sucks. I was told to attribute that banking sucks statement to Bastawi at the back, so Bastawi made that statement. So we all agree that banking sucks, and we all know it, and microfinance is not working for us in Kenya. So the work around it is, so Sheilah, Mugethi, and I will become a bank for each other. So instead of going to a bank that I will not name to deposit my money, I will go and deposit my money to Sheilah. She's literally my bank. And I can withdraw from her. And if she's to give me credit, I'll pay her interest. So this is totally killing the need for banks in Kenya. And with M-Pesa, we can easily transfer money. We have services such as Mchanga, and I think Chama Soft. Yes, that is especially designed for chamas, which is basically people banking socially and informally among themselves with the help of tech. So in case you want to know how to, stop paying interest to your bank and stop supporting the bankers, do talk to us.
So we don't need SaaS. We don't need SAP. We got a phone. And this is a powerful slide because in the past, we call them mamambogas who sell groceries by the road or corner stores in estates. They never used to have accounting records. So they would normally write it. Maybe a kid would tear it or something like that. But now they have applications that can help them track stock, sales, calculate, let's say analytics. Let's make it sophisticated. They have analytics now. So they can track everything they're doing in their businesses, know which product is going fast, which product is in season now, what they should get, with just a phone. And even guys who sell liquor can now have accounting. They can do invoicing for the guys who bring them the liquor. They can do, basic accounting stuff that you don't even need to go to school to do. We do that now. Isn't that dope? Yeah. Okay. So crowdsourcing is huge now globally. There's Kickstarters, we have Cheetah Fund and stuff. But for us, this has always been there. So like Njeri said about chamas and stuff, so we used to have Arambe. In fact, it was in the loyalty pledge. Like it was that big. Government thought it was necessary to have it in the loyalty pledge. So how that used to work was you have a small village and maybe one kid is now going to the university and the village is so proud of that kid. So basically all of us come, we discuss about what the needs of this kid is, and then all of us contribute as a community for that kid without being told. So we say we'll pay for tuition. So basically, the village comes together, contributes whatever amount of money they have, and then that kid is is taken to school. But now it's a different thing we crowdsource. We crowdsource for information. So by nature, we are a people who love to give. And what you're seeing here is an app called Ma3 Route. So traffic sometimes in Nairobi is crazy, and especially when it rains cars. So there's so much traffic, you can stay in traffic for sometimes even 6 hours, 8 hours. So with this application, if you're stuck in traffic, you just tweet or SMS them and say, there's traffic on Ngong Road. So everyone else who follows them will see there's traffic on Ngong Road, so use an alternative route. So we also have other crowdsourcing platforms like the famous Ushahidi, which was used for post-election violence. We also have Umati that tracks hate speech. So basically, it's just giving information to everyone else to know what is happening. And what that helps to the other side, not the guys giving information, is now you have a rich pool of data that you can use for different things. You can use it to understand a community. You can use it to manage a disaster. You can use it to understand what is going on in a particular crisis area and then inform what steps to take. And now we'll teach you how to dance. Not really.
And how to win a marathon.
Why can't you guys just rock the whole afternoon here, huh? Well, I know we ran out of time, but I would still like to extend it another 5 minutes at least in case you have questions. So we just shortened the break, okay? If the stage manager is all right with that, 5 more minutes? Okay, perfect, thank you. So the floor is again yours.
Okay, any questions or clarifications? Okay.
Hi, it's not on, it is. Yeah, you talked a lot about Facebook and Twitter. I'm just wondering, how do you use YouTube in Kenya? Do you have YouTube stars? Do you have video, like political video bloggers? Or what's the scene like?
Yes, yeah, YouTube is also quite big in Kenya. There's a lot of Kenyans are notorious for taking videos when they should not be taking them and then putting them on YouTube. A recent example is a government official. So I think it was an MP, a member of parliament. I think he was trying to import his container. It was too heavy to go through the toll station. And so he came in person to intimidate the toll officer. And someone recorded it and put it on YouTube and shared it on social media. And he got a lot of heat for that. So yes, and then it's optimized for mobile. So most of us just use it, record it on our phone, upload it, and use it on our phone. It's also quite big.
Just to add on that, so we also use it. I think videos on WhatsApp are huge in Kenya as opposed to YouTube because of course, the bandwidth. But then those videos obviously come from YouTube. So sometimes most people would rather download it, resize it, and then send it to WhatsApp because you can reach a wider number of people.
Not really, like the musician YouTube stars. Maybe they'll come up soon.
We don't have how-tos on YouTube. Makeup tutorials, not yet. We have a few, but it's not huge.
Hi, thank you for your wonderful presentation. I wonder, how expensive is it to use internet on mobile phones in Kenya? How expensive is it?
Getting 100 MB is 8 bob. Yeah. No, 40 bob.
No, Safaricom.
Okay. Clearly we don't know our bundles. So in Nairobi there's fiber, but if you're using mobile internet, it will be 10 cents for 100 MB during the day and 100 MB at night, but it gets cheaper and cheaper. If say you're buying a 1 GB, it would cost you $50.
1,000 shillings.
Like 10
Clearly, we all don't use mobile internet. I'm so sorry, but you can just Google that. All the information is online.
But it's relatively cheap. Yeah. I like that.
However, I will add that it's cheaper if you're using, a internet-enabled phone as compared to a smartphone. Obviously, smartphones gobble up bandwidth. So, for example, personally, I would use 1,000 Kenya shillings. It's about 100. So it's like €100 per month. I buy 10 euro. Buy a bundle that I will use for data for the month. Yeah.
It's relatively cheap. Yeah.
I think I'm going to be the scapegoat now.
Yeah, we teach.
We have to make a short break of 10 minutes. We are going to meet here again at 12:30 for another 3 incredible ladies coming from Europe, from the United States and Africa. Kenya again, actually.